Closing paragraphs and writing effective titles are easier than you think. Before we get started, the closing paragraph is supposed to finish your brilliant analysis, and it connects the topic or your answer to the prompt to the audience again. The closing paragraph will mirror your opening paragraph, but will not be an exact copy. Each sentence should be unique in your essay. The prompt, if you recall, was to identify the central message or theme in Gwendolyn Brooks's poem, The Kitchenette Building, to discuss how the poet develops the theme, and to use all of the literary devices and vocabulary that you've been learning in class. All right. Review the opening paragraph first of all. We wrote 3 before. I'll give you 3 closing paragraphs in this tutorial, but let's just go ahead and focus on the first one and go over the steps for writing the closing paragraph. Okay, so we'll be working with this one in pink right here. Step 1 is to link to your global statement. All right, the global statement was the big idea behind the prompt. Now you're going to link back to that now that you've finished your analysis in the body of your essay. So here, poetry draws our attention to things that might otherwise go unnoticed. The link could be, poetry brings to light many details that would be easy to ignore. So I've restated that idea, but I've taken it in a slightly different direction. Step 2 would be to restate your best points. You can kind of summarize your topic sentences here, but you should not exactly repeat any of the sentences from the rest of your essay. All right, so Brooks's writing illustrates the sense of futility that exists in desperate circumstances. Through her use of metaphors and shifts in the structure, she suggests that hope is unlikely in the speaker's situation. Or I might put the speaker suggests it's unlikely in her situation. All right, the next step is to restate your answer to the prompt. Remember from before, poverty makes having hopes and dreams nearly impossible. To restate that, even though she acknowledges the odds against hopes and dreams in a poor, unnurturing, or even hostile environment, Brooks demonstrates that hopes and dreams exist anywhere, anyway. The last step is the twist, and this is the part that most people have the most difficult time with, because you have to answer questions like, so what, who cares, where do we go from here, right? What kind of truth can I take away from having really analyzed and thought about this particular subject? Okay, so an example twist here would be her poem shows it would be terribly difficult to encourage aspirations, which I admit I looked up in a thesaurus for hopes and dreams because I'd been using it so much in my essay, in such a hostile environment, but it's worth the effort because having dreams is what makes life worth living. The final step when you're writing is to have a really good title. All right, and the easiest way to do this is to look at your twist and choose a word or a phrase from the twist that could become your title. So in this case, it ended with what makes life worth living. So that's just what I'm going to use. And this does 2 things. 1, it finishes up your essay. A title gives it a good polished appearance. 2, this is now going to make it look like I had this idea in mind from the very beginning. So because my audience will be reading my essay in order, it looks like I've planned this out really well. And that's an impression that's going to carry through with your reader no matter what. All right, so we've done the link to the global. We restated our best points. I restated my thesis, and then I gave it a twist, and I finished up with putting that title at the very beginning of my paper. So that was one of the choices. Here is another one, color-coded for your convenience. A link to the global, restating my best points, restating my thesis in a completely different way, and putting in the twist. So the title then would be Up to the Dreamer. Last but not least, the third choice. Here's your opening paragraph, link to the global statement. The bold pink is restating my best points, restating my thesis, giving it a little twist, taking it beyond the scope of my essay, and now my title is going to be limitless. So there's lots of ways to do this, and again, the flexibility is what makes writing so enjoyable. You can say whatever it is that you're thinking as long as you back it up and give it a nice frame with the opening and closing paragraph.